Can victim behaviors change an offender's MO? Imagine you're watching a crime unfold and wondering if the victim's actions could have influenced how the offender committed the crime. It's a question that often pops up in criminal psychology and profiling. When we talk about an offender's modus operandi, or MO, we mean their typical way of doing things, how they choose their targets, how they carry out the crime, and how they avoid getting caught. But can the victim's behavior actually change that pattern? The answer is yes, it can, but it depends on a few key factors. Offenders sometimes adapt their methods based on how victims react. For example, if a victim fights back or resists in a certain way, the offender might change their approach to avoid injury or capture next time. If a victim uses self-defense or makes noise, the offender could alter their tactics, maybe choosing a different time or location for their next crime. This kind of adjustment is more common among experienced or more sophisticated offenders who learn from each encounter. Victim behaviors that can influence an offender's MO include resistance, cooperation with law enforcement, and even the victim's environment. If a victim fights back, the offender might become more cautious or change their attack style. If a victim reports the crime quickly and provides detailed information, the offender might modify their methods to reduce the chance of being identified. Changes in the victim's routine, like moving to a safer neighborhood or installing security cameras, can also push offenders to adapt their strategies. Criminal profiling shows that offenders with more experience or skill are more likely to change their tactics in response to victim actions. Repeat offenders tend to stick to their patterns but can still shift their methods if they encounter resistance or new obstacles. Sometimes, the interaction during a crime shapes future behavior. For example, if an offender notices a victim fighting back, they might decide to avoid that type of victim or change their approach altogether. Understanding how victim behavior influences an offender's MO helps law enforcement predict future actions. It also guides crime prevention strategies, like teaching potential victims how to resist effectively or how to make their environment less inviting to offenders. So, in short, victim actions can indeed cause an offender to change their MO, especially if the offender is adaptable and motivated to avoid detection or injury. But it's not a simple cause-and-effect relationship. The offender's personality, experience, and the crime context all play a part in whether their methods will shift based on what the victim does.